I'm here with Daniel. He doesn't require an introduction. Everybody knows who this legend is. To talk about Crownshift, the new project, the new band, with the album self-titled Crownshift coming out on May 10th on Nuclear Blast. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me. My pleasure.
So let's talk a little bit about how this had all started. As you know, superheroes, they all have an origin story. So what's the origin story behind this group of superheroes that got together to make Crownshift?
Well, you probably know this, that me, Heikki, and Jukka, we already have played together in the band called Norther back in the days, and it was the last phases of Norther when it became when it was clear that that band came to an end. We already back then discussed that someday we're going to do something together, and took a little while, but here we are. And along the way, Tommy is also my old friend, and when we were thinking about who could do the vocals, Tommy was the first person in my mind, and I actually suggested that to Heikki and Jukka, we should try him. He's really kick-ass singer.
Yeah. So the idea, so were you the first guy to pick up the phone this time around and get everybody involved?
Well, basically, we had like a conversation back and forth during the years, but I guess the serious one came from me, because I started to have a lot of these songs, and I was like, now it's the time to do something, because there are so much. And then I presented those songs to them, and they were like, damn it, we should record these.
Yeah, a lot of people obviously know that you guys worked together on that last record of Norther, but you also had Nailed Down where you guys also worked together. So having that experience of working with them before, does that make things a little bit easier? Do you start already on the righter foot, if you will, by having that relationship?
Yeah, absolutely. And since I know these guys so long, I knew that I can trust them. I knew how good players they are. So we kind of know each other's inside and out. And we also know that it would work. Yeah.
You mentioned Tommy. When I saw the band being announced, he was the only one that surprised me. Because like you said, the relationship between the three of you was already there. So I'm like, okay, you're staying close to home. I'm not surprised there. Tommy came a little bit as a surprise, not because of his talent. That's undeniable. I know him from other projects like Damnation Plan and Migraine. But I was surprised that he was the choice. Was it hard for you to convince the rest of the guys, considering how convinced you were with him?
Not really, because I think we did a 1 or 2 song as a test. I just, called him and said that, hey, now I have these songs that, do you want to come down and try? We could try some vocals on it, and it sounded super good. So I knew when that guy opened his mouth that we have it. So then I just sent the tracks to the other guys, and they were like, we're not going to even consider anybody else.
Yeah, he was a great choice. I think he has a great range, a great tone, great delivery. I think he's very underrated, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, in a way, he hasn't really been in such I don't know how to say it, high level or professional level of music, but the talent has always been there. He's people they are probably he's not that famous, like, yet. But hopefully that will be fixed, because the guy is a super good singer, and he has a wide range. We can pretty much. I knew that with his range, we have like a limitless options to embark on.
This project is going to change his level of popularity, that's for sure. Do you see, how do you envision the band going forward? I talked to Eki in Inferno. He was there with Fintroll, and we talked very briefly about Crownshift, and he was mentioning some shows. This is more than just a studio project. This is a band.
Absolutely, because that's no one want to do a side project. We're not that kind of guys, and we do only bands that we can commit. So yes, we are gonna do as much live shows as there is demand. So yeah, we also already have like a lot of summer festivals coming up, and hopefully we can get some touring in later this year. But it's a little bit too early to promise anything. But we're trying that for sure.
Do you see the band as you move forward beyond those festival shows and that possibility of the tour? Is this band going to become your? I mean, it is your baby already, but is this band going to be your main focus, and you're going to continue to pump music into it?
Yes, it is. And one of the reasons we actually formed this band that was that we want to be more active and we want to have control to that, because some things have been happening in our past that has been beyond our control. And now that we have like a sort of band of our own, gives us the freedom to decide what to do or what not to do. And
That is
we
great.
should gonna invest time, and we're gonna tour as much as we can, like I said, and yeah, give it all.
Because you know how it is when I saw the announcement, for example, it's everybody always uses the label supergroup because considering the members that are in it, and a lot of times these super groups become more of a studio project, something along those lines, because everybody is busy with other stuff. So in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, how serious, how committed are these guys to this?
Yeah, I get that, because that's how supergroup are often labeled, like a studio project. But yeah, I guess we just need some time to show how serious we actually are, because we are. And I don't know, people are still gonna ask that a lot. Are you gonna do live shows? And I am always like, yes, 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 we are. But you have to actually do it first. You have to show them that you're serious. It's probably not enough that I'm saying it.
Hey, listen, I'm keeping my fingers crossed because I'm coming to Finland this summer. I'm going to be there in August for a week. I'm going to be in Tampere for Sari Helveti, the festival there, and then I'm going to be in Helsinki for a couple of days. And I was telling Tommy, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that somehow the gods, Odin, I don't know, somebody books you guys on a show while we're there that we can watch you guys play live because that to me would be absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, welcome.
Well,
It's my
I'm looking forward to my trip there. Now, speaking of what people ask you in terms of the supergroup, how overall the reception has been once you guys announced that you were releasing an album, you signed to Nuclear Blast. Was everything as you expected from fans and media?
well, honestly, I didn't really expect that much, and well, I haven't really think about it too much either. But mainly the feedback's been super positive, and people really seem to dig those songs, even though they are quite different from each other. But still, they seem to find their place, all of them, and it's been the feedback has been mainly positive, which I'm super grateful.
Are the music going to dictate the vision that you have for the band, or do you have a vision for the band that's going to dictate the music? Because, like you said, the three singles, and I've heard the album, there's a lot of diversity on the record.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think we ever really had a conversation like what sort of style we should do, or those are just songs that came out from us. I mean, it's just simple. It's more like if the song is good, doesn't matter which style it represents. That's the way we're gonna approach our album. And diversity is, you know, I think that's a positive thing. But I don't know. People hear these things very differently. So for somebody, they may not like songs like My Prison as much as Stellar Halo. But well, it is what it is.
Two of my favorite of the record, by the way. I mean, My Prison is one of my favorite all around, even though I know my son, for example, is not a huge fan of it. Once again, like everybody has different taste. I like what My Prison offers. Stellar Halo is a great opening track because I think it's a song that really encompasses what the rest of the album is going to be all about. It has a little bit of everything that the rest of the album.
Yeah, it's quite a hurricane. And very, very complex song. Probably one of the complex songs in the album. But that is gonna be our style. We're gonna do like we want to have like several different styles here and there, and yeah.
But through all of that, you know what I noticed listening to the record, that even though there is diversity, even though there's a little bit of everything, the guitar playing and the vocals become almost the common denominator that holds all of these songs together.
Yeah,
Do you see it that way as well?
maybe that's another thing I don't really think about too much. Or but yeah, you might be right. And of course, because this being our first album, it's probably people gonna compare it to other bands because there isn't really a reference point from us. So maybe when we are, hopefully, when we are in our fifth or fourth album, things are probably a little bit more settled, and there's probably not much, this kind of diversity. But who knows? There might be.
I think the issue, like you said, with being the first album is that people come in with a certain expectation based on you guys, based on what you guys did in the past, on where you played, how you played together. Like I came in like, is this going to be Northern version 2.0? Like that was me coming in. And then once I forgot about that and I was like, okay, no, I got to listen to the record as a record and give the songs their own merit and their own due. Once you do that, then it's a different experience altogether.
Yeah, exactly. And we never wanted to do like a Norther 2.0 because I don't know, it would be silly. There's already been one Norther, and yeah, or any other our past bands, because we also wanted to start like we wanted to have a clean slate, start from the scratch without any expectations. But obviously, there's still some
Yeah.
coming. But yeah,
It's always going to be there. Now, I want to talk to you about the sound because I felt like the drums were so heavy, but they still allowed your guitars to just completely drive over it. Um, who did you work with when it came to the production? Because I honestly enjoyed this. I don't think I've heard it recently on any other record, drums sounding that heavy, but still not overburdening the guitars with that heaviness, allowing the guitars to just be super melodic and drive over them.
yeah, that's actually something we spent quite a while to find mixing guy that we liked, mixing engineer, and we actually this was relatively new guy in the scene, not so established guy called Rami Nykänen. He's a Finnish guy, and he did a really really good job with that album because he had that kind of fresh modern sound that nobody really has here in Finland or in Europe, or yeah, because we did try a couple established guys, and they are great mixing engineers, but somehow it just didn't feel the right sound for this. We wanted to have something that we haven't had before.
And using the keys on the record, but not overusing them. Was that your thought process? Because I love the fact that they're sprinkled in, that melody there, but man, we still need your guitars, and your guitars is still what keeps us going track in and track out. Was that important for you to not overdo it?
Well, I think in some song I did overdo it, but probably it's not been heard that well. But it totally depends on the part. Sometimes you need a lot of keyboard layers. Sometimes it sounds better without, and it's just part by part. You have to analyze or try at different things, and yeah, it's a lot of like a trying. Or sometimes I had more keyboards, but I ended up not using them because they just didn't add anything. Or I wanted to be like a more guitar vibe part.
I think one of the great things about the guitar sound on this record is that it's your signature sound. It has like your DNA, your fingerprint on it. And I think that's what allows that diversity that I was mentioning in before, but still allowing the tracks to be connected, because you could tell who's playing. Like, you have a very distinct sound and a very distinct approach.
Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, I've tried to do my best, so I'm glad that it worked for you, man.
It definitely worked for me. Now, the biggest question that I had when I was listening to this album was how the album starts and how the album finishes. It feels like a record of two halves, because you have, you know, I want to say a ballad, a softer song that breaks the record in the middle. Then you have an instrumental track. You have a heavy song, I think one of the heaviest songs on the record on that second half. And then you close off with a track that is mind-boggling. Like, I the last song on the album, I was like, what's, like, there's so much to it. It's such a complex track in terms of what it offers and the journey that it takes you on, while the first half of the album feels more direct, more to the point. Are you conscious that the record has these two distinct personalities, the one that starts and the one that finishes?
Probably, now that you say that. But yeah, there is like a very, very different parts of metal genres in that album. You know, it's, if you like take Mirage, which is totally like a very calm song, clean guitars, and then there's to the other side, which is kind of a more epic, progressive side. And yeah, that song just keep growing and growing, and just turned out to be that long epic journey. But I'm really glad, because there was like a point that I could end that song, which I consider it when I was doing the demo back in the days. But then something just told me that don't stop yet. You have to see where this goes. And I just let it grow and grow and grow, and that's how it came. Yeah. So,
And you're not only doing, sorry.
Yeah, it's a very challenging to do these longer kind of tracks, because you have to keep it like interesting, and you have to like it's more time, you have to keep it interesting. If you have like 5 minute song, it's a little bit easier to keep interesting than 10 minute song.
But you definitely keep things interesting with that song, because you're, as a listener, you just don't know where the track is going, so you're engaged with the track because you're discovering it as you're going along, and you're like, okay, I want to see where is this going to take me next, and that keeps you connected.
Yeah, it's a really quite a trip. But I've always been a fan of these longer songs as well. Like Symphony Acts does a lot of that, and Old Halloween, even like Keeper of the Seven Keys. That's are like my. They've been always really special, especially when you kind of buy the album or have the album cover. When you see that there's a track that is much more longer, you all already know that it's going to be something special, and yeah. So maybe we'll do longer tracks in the future as well. Let's see.
Puts a nice exclamation mark at the end of the record, that's for sure. Now, you're not only playing guitar, you're doing some vocals as well. Do you enjoy the backing vocals? Is there something? Is there, singing? Is that something that appeals to you that you want to do more of?
Well, I used to do that in Nail Down, but eventually I kind of quit singing, like quit as a lead singer, let's say that way. But it's always good to have a little bit backing vocal help in your band. And if there's like a part that I can do or my voice fits that well, sure, I can help. And we actually, when we were doing this album with Tommy, we did the vocals. We actually experienced that he has a really good like higher range, and I can be really resourceful in the lower range. So we do a lot of these harmonies, like If You Dare chorus or the My Prison chorus. That's like a 50-50 Tommy and me there.
Oh wow, I wasn't aware. My prison, I got it just from watching the video, but I didn't realize that was that much of a level of 50-50 of you guys.
Well, it's like I do the lower harmony, the chorus, and he does the higher, and same thing with If You Dare. So there's few of those, but it's not like singing. I don't really really like need to sing as much, but if I can be useful, I'm happy to be. But I mean, Tommy is the singer of the band. I'm just helping here and there. Yeah.
He's just carrying his microphone.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just carrying his microphone. What about the lyrics? Do you have lyrics? Do you work on lyrics for this specific band? How do the lyrics come to life?
Well, most of the lyrics, some of them I did myself, but I think majority we were working with Tommy on the spot while we were recording. So we kind of arranged the vocals and wrote the lyrics and recorded them in the same place, same spot. So that's how we kind of work.
Was that process a fun process for you? Is it different from how you've worked in the past?
Yes and no. Different, fun, yes, but it takes a little bit more time. But that wasn't the issue because we were using my home studio, so we didn't have clock ticking like in commercial studios. Because there it's probably good to, if you have done the preparation and you don't go there just writing lyrics. But in this situation, I think it worked very well. It was very intuitive way to do vocals, and probably we're gonna do that next time also. Because most of the time, even if you write all the lyrics and stuff, and you think it's well prepped and everything, then when you go to record them, you always have to do some tweaks, adjust some lines don't fit, and some words are funny. So we were like, why the hell we can do the whole process on the spot? So
It worked. So
yeah.
you know what they say: if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So it works for you guys. Well, I, for one, am happy to see all of you working together. And I have to tell you this: I'm really happy that the record does not sound like necessarily anything that you guys have done before. Because I think, you know, what you guys have all done before, that's great. That's nostalgia is kind of part of the past, is part of who you guys are. But putting Crownshift on and listening to the band and listening to the record from beginning to end allow me to see a little bit of the DNA that it's probably going to come out of you guys with all that diversity in it. But I'm happy that this is not like something version 2.0. It's just Crownshift and Crownshift. So I just want to mention that because I think that's really important. For me, I'm really happy to see that.
Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, that was kind of the plan. Start from the scratch, and not to redo some, like you said, Norther 2.0.
And I'm happy with that. Daniel, thank you very much for your time. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I see you guys in Finland play a show. If not, I'll buzz Tommy to get together and just have a beer and talk about the record. But thank you very much, and all the best to you and the gang with the release on May 10th on Nuclear Blast. Congratulations for putting a great record together.
Thank you, and it was my pleasure. And we'll see you in Finland.
Yeah, see you, man. Take care.
Yeah, see ya. Bye.